Imagine a story so chilling, so strange, that it still haunts a small town nearly 80 years later. A fire, 5 missing children, and a mystery that only gets deeper with time. Welcome to the eerie, unsolved case of the Sodder children. On Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia, a fire consumed the Sodder family home. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 4 of their 10 children, managed to escape the inferno. But 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were nowhere to be found. The initial belief was that they had tragically perished in the blaze. But when the rubble was searched, no human remains were ever discovered. Not a single bone, not a single tooth. How could a fire hot enough to destroy an entire house leave absolutely no trace of 5 children? This is where the story takes a turn from tragic to truly bizarre. George Sodder tried to use his work truck to reach the children's second-story window, but it mysteriously wouldn't start. The family's phone line was dead, so a neighbor had to run to a nearby tavern to call the fire department. By the time help arrived, the house was a pile of ash. The official cause of death was fire, but George and Jenny never believed it. They started to uncover a series of strange events leading up to the night. A few months before the fire, a stranger had tried to sell them life insurance on their children. Becoming angry when George refused, another man warned George that his house would go up in smoke and his children would be destroyed because of his outspoken criticism of Mussolini. Was this an act of revenge? The family began to suspect their children were still alive. They hired private investigators and put up a billboard along Route 16 with the children's pictures, offering a reward for any information. For the rest of their lives, they searched, clinging to every strange clue. And the clues were strange indeed. A bus driver claimed to have seen the children at a rest stop the morning after the fire. A woman at a Charleston hotel said she saw them a week later with 2 men, and to women of Italian extraction. But the most haunting clue came 20 years later. In 1968, Jenny Sodder received a letter postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man who bore a striking resemblance to her son Louis, who would have been in his late 20s. On the back of the photo was a cryptic note: Louis Sodder, I love Brother Frankie. Hello boys, A90132 or 35. The family hired another detective to investigate the lead, but he took their money and vanished without a trace. Was this young man truly Louis Sodder? Who were the Illo boys? What did the numbers mean? Was it a cruel prank or a desperate message from a long-lost son? The Sodder family never found out. George and Jenny passed away, never knowing the fate of their children. The remaining Sodder children and their descendants have continued the search, but the mystery remains. Were the children kidnapped by the Sicilian mafia as revenge? Did they somehow survive the fire and start new lives elsewhere? Or is there an even darker explanation we haven't considered? The Sodder children's disappearance is a chilling reminder that sometimes the truth is stranger and more elusive than any fiction. The billboard on Route 16 is gone now, but the questions it asks still echo through the hills of West Virginia. But the Sodder case isn't the only American mystery that defies explanation. Let's travel north to the quiet woods of Vermont, to a place called the Bennington Triangle. Between 1945 and 1950, at least 5 people vanished without a trace in this very area. The first was Mitty Rivers, an experienced 74-year-old hunter and guide. On November 12, 1945, he was leading a group of 4 hunters. He walked ahead of the group, and when they reached a clearing, he was simply gone. An extensive search found only a single rifle cartridge in a stream. He knew these woods like the back of his hand. How could he just disappear? A year later, in December 1946, a college student named Paula Jean Weldon went for a hike on the long trail. Several people saw her start her journey, including an elderly couple who she walked with for a short distance. She rounded a corner on the trail ahead of them, and when they reached the same spot moments later, she had vanished into thin air. There were no footprints, no signs of a struggle, nothing. It was as if the forest had swallowed her whole. Her disappearance sparked one of Vermont's largest ever manhunts, involving the FBI, but not a single clue was ever found. 3 years to the day after Paula Weldon disappeared, a veteran named James Tedford vanished from a moving bus. He was returning to his home at the Bennington Soldiers' Home after visiting relatives. 14 other passengers saw him sleeping in his seat. When the bus arrived at its destination, Tedford was gone. All his luggage and an open bus timetable were still on his seat, but he was nowhere to be found. How does a man disappear from a moving bus, surrounded by witnesses, without anyone noticing? It's a locked true mystery on wheels. The strange events continue. In October 1950, 8-year-old Paul Jeffson disappeared from his family's farm. His mother, a pig farmer, left him playing near the sty while she tended to the animals. She was gone for about an hour, but when she returned, her son was gone. Search dogs tracked his scent to a local crossroads, a place where Paula Weldon had also vanished, and then the trail went cold. It was as if he had been lifted right off the ground. Just 16 days after little Paul vanished, the final and perhaps strangest disappearance occurred. Frida Langer, a 53-year-old woman, was hiking with her cousin. She slipped and fell into a stream and decided to go back to their campsite to change her wet clothes. It was a short, half-mile walk on a clear path, but she didn't return after a few hours. Her cousin went back to the campsite. Frida was gone. Over the next 2 weeks, hundreds of volunteers, aircraft, and even the National Guard scoured the area. Nothing. But then, 7 months later, her body was found in an open field that had been searched extensively multiple times. The cause of death was listed as exposure. But how could her body have gone unnoticed for so long in such a heavily searched, open area? 5 people all vanished within a 5-year period in the same small area. The Bennington Triangle has no official boundaries, but it has a powerful, unsettling legacy. Was it a serial killer? Were there bizarre geological or weather phenomena at play? Local legends speak of strange lights in the sky and Native American folklore about a man-eating stone that swallows anyone who steps on it. Whatever the cause, the Bennington Triangle remains one of America's most concentrated and baffling clusters of unsolved disappearances. From a family torn apart by fire and shadows to a wilderness that seems to swallow people whole. These stories leave us with more questions than answers. They are woven into the fabric of American history, reminding us that there are still dark corners of this country, where the truth remains just out of reach. What do you think happened to the soldered children or the lost souls of Bennington? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If these eerie tales have captured your imagination, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. Thanks for watching and stay curious.